Good morning. This is your Elmira Baptist Church update, weekly update. It's May 27th, 2021. Thank you for joining me this Thursday. The quote for today comes from my college president. He said, "A defeat that leaves the believer humble is more beneficial than a victory that leaves the believer proud." Let me say that again. A defeat that leaves a believer humble is more beneficial than a victory that leaves a believer proud. Well, this past Sunday we had a great time. People outside, people inside. It was beautiful weather to be outside there under the canopy. Speaker was working well. So if you are not comfortable coming inside but could join us outside, we'd be glad to have you this coming Sunday. Now, let me remind you of our schedule. We will pre-record Sunday school for those of you that watch from home. But the rest of us will meet at 9:45 for our Sunday school assembly and then break up into our separate classes. 11 o'clock we'll have our morning worship. And then we'll have that picnic on the grounds. This is in our food and fellowship for the month of May. And after that food and fellowship, which is a picnic on the grounds, bring the food, drinks, paper plates, forks, knives, whatever that your family needs. After that food and fellowship, we're going to have a praise and testimony time. Usually starts about 1:30, and we will do our best to live stream that as well for those of you that can't join us in person. But I can guarantee you, and I know this because I've talked to people again recently, I can guarantee you that if you are able to join us in person, you will be more blessed to join us in person than to watch from home. Don't forget that tomorrow, Friday night, is the teen event. That's at the Custer's home. And again, let me just encourage you parents of teens to just come and stay. Enjoy the fellowship. Enjoy being with your teenagers. And then don't forget, because there is a praise and testimony in the afternoon on Sunday, we will not have the 5 p.m. Sunday service. Be praying, if you would, for Eliana and Jessica and AJ. There's been some sickness there. Also, their pediatrician called to let them know that the hearing loss may not be as significant as they first thought. They do need to do some more tests, and so they asked if we just continue to pray with them for God's will to be done and for patience as they wait on Him. Today I want to take a look at Isaiah chapter 57, verse 15. And we heard that quote about pride and humility. Isaiah 57:15 says, "For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones." Right there in the middle, God says, "I dwell in the high and holy place with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble." Boy, humility is hard. Genuine humility is hard. It's hard for us to be humble. We're not wired to be humble. And then we're constantly surrounded by this idea that we need to promote ourselves. So humility is hard. John Sedgwick was a general in the Civil War. He was involved in many of the battles. The Wilderness Campaign. He was at the Battle of Antietam, where he was actually injured 3 times. Was convalescing for a while, then returned to join the army. At the Battle of Spotsylvania, he was inspecting his troops' defenses. He was some distance away from the enemy lines, and he was up on a parapet, and they warned him, "Hey, you got to be careful." He said, "Those guys couldn't hit an elephant from this distance." And just literally within seconds, he was shot and killed by an enemy sharpshooter, one of the highest ranking generals to die in the Civil War. But it's a reminder that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And the truth is, the more God blesses us, the more His grace is poured out upon us and we receive it and we benefit from it, the easier it is to feel like, boy, I'm doing so well. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Look at me. And that's just about the time when pride destroys us. So remember, God dwells with the humble and the contrite ones to revive the spirit of the humble. It's not something you have to work at. It's something you have to allow the Holy Spirit to do in your life. I hope that you'll join us this coming Sunday. Again, we'll be outside, some of us, inside, some of us, and plan to join us for that food and fellowship as well. I'll see you there.